Hi, I'm Gina Reinecke, a nutrition and lifestyle coach and holy yoga instructor. And today we are going to do a flowing standing practice where we will be focusing on just being fully present. So in Luke 12, Jesus talks to his disciples about do not worry. And he tells us to consider the birds of the air and the flowers of the field and how they're not panicking, they're not flurrying about, they're just kind of going about their business, and there's just so much beauty and so much freedom in their existence. And he reminds us that we are so much more important than they are. So one of the beautiful things about yoga is it uses the movement of the body and the breath to draw our mind back into line, to settle us down, to bring us to a place of cohesion and integration, and ultimately to peace. So we're using our body to quiet our minds. And I love that. As a very physical person, it's very hard for me to just sit still and quiet my mind down. It really takes a lot of intention and movement and breath for me to bring it all back in and get centered. So we're going to just focus on being fully present and being like the flowers of the field. They're not trying hard. They're just being, and they're just shining their beauty and reflecting the glory of God. And Jesus says they're not laboring or spinning, and they will be, thrown out. They'll shrivel up, they'll die tomorrow. And but while they're expressing that full beauty, there's such a blessing. And so as we live this life and surrender to the Lord and bring ourselves into the current moment and allow ourselves to know the truth that he cares for us and that he's going to take care of us, let's just play a little. Okay, so it'll be really helpful for you to have a strap. It could be like a karate strap, it could be an old tie, it could be a belt for a bathrobe, and some blocks. So yoga blocks are great. You can have them at the highest level, at the medium level, or at the lowest level. And these are a way for you to bring the floor up to yourself so that you can stay very connected, but honor where your body is and facilitate the movement that way. Then the other thing, if you don't have blocks, is grab a hardcover book or something that has a similar shape and size to this, and then you can still use it in similar ways. So find your way to your bottom into a simple seated position. You may want to rock, grab your hand, hook it underneath you, and move the tissue out of the way so you can feel your sits bones rooting into the mat. Just settling yourself down, taking a few deep breaths, scanning your body, and observing your thoughts. Don't judge them. Don't fret about them. Don't feel like you even have to change them. Just let them flow past you like a little bubbling brook. You see it and it moves on. And then draw your attention back to your breath. And as you breathe, breathe in and out through the nose, gently constricting the back of your throat and creating a breathy, whispering sound, like the sound of the ocean. Filling up all the way down to the hip creases. Taking the breath deep into the belly, creating the space so that the breath naturally flows in. And as you exhale, Imagine that you're gently tightening a corset all the way up from the lower belly, up through the ribs, out the mouth and nose. With each exhale, extend your breath slightly and try to match the next inhale with that exhale. Gently retract your head like someone's lifting you up through your upper palate, up and back. Soften the tailbone, engage the lower abs. Draw the shoulder blades down the back, open up wide and broad across the collarbones. And feel the breath filling you up. On the next inhale, breathing your arms up, drawing the energy into the center, pulling it down as you exhale. Do 3 of those, inhaling up, drawing it into your center. Inhale up, into your center, keeping the hands at prayer. Drop your head down, folding forward, curling in to the middle. Set your intention. Really draw your attention into that still, quiet place deep inside of you. On your next exhale, drop your hands into your lap. Inhaling, rolling up, gently opening your eyes, finding your way to the front of your mat. Looking down, we're going to go through Sun Salutation A 2 or 3 times. You may need to move your blocks out of the way so you don't bump your face. So lifting up in all 4 corners of the feet, making sure that you're not rocking out or in, but you're really solidly connected to the floor, drawing up through the arch of the foot. Tucking the tailbone ever so slightly, engaging the lower abs, drawing the shoulders down the back, inhaling up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, diving forward to the floor, hanging here for 3 breaths. Relax the jaw, rock ever so slightly into the forefoot, lifting up through the sits bones, lengthening through the back of the neck, making your head really heavy. On your next inhale, coming halfway up, placing the hands on the shin bones, making a nice long line from the crown of the head to the tailbone. 1 full breath here. On your exhale, dropping down, placing the hands, stepping back to a plank pose. So you can be in a full plank or drop your knees so you have a little extra support here. Whatever you choose, making sure that the shoulders are down the back, the belly's knitted up, the rib cage is engaged. You're breathing deeply, keeping that long rhythmic breath going all the way down into the hip creases. On your next exhale, keeping the elbows in nice and tight, coming forward over the top, all the way down to the floor, scooping through, and without pressing into the floor, but drawing the shoulders back, lifting up just with the back muscles. Just do a baby cobra. Holding there. On the next exhale, press the knees into the floor, hands into the floor, scooping up through the lower abs, pressing hips all the way back over the heels into child's pose. Inhaling up to all 4s, tucking the toes, lifting the hips to the ceiling, keeping the knees bent, staying high on the tippy toes like you're wearing really high stilettos. Attention into the hands, making sure that the pads of your knuckles are pressing into the floor,
Maybe softening your elbows slightly so you can draw the shoulders down the back, engage the rib cage, scooping the lower abs up, but pressing the tailbone up to the sky. Once you have your shoulders on the back where they need to be, then pressing longer through the hands into the arms, creating an even longer line. Pedaling your feet with breath, dropping your right heel, keeping the left heel up. Inhaling up and dropping the left heel. Doing that with your breath, one more time on each side. Dropping the left heel. Bringing both heels up, dropping both heels down. They don't have to touch the floor at this point. The important part is that the hips are pressing up to the ceiling. At the end of your next exhale, look toward your hands. Take little tiny baby steps. Walk your hands to your feet to your hands. Get them set nice and square. Inhaling up halfway for length. Exhaling down to the floor. Pressing into the feet. Inhaling all the way up to the ceiling. Bringing the hands down into heart center. Inhaling the arms up again. Exhaling down to the floor. Inhaling halfway up for length. Exhale, stepping all the way back into plank, making sure the fingers are spread, the wrist creases are parallel to the front edge of the mat. Drawing the heads of the arm bone into the armpits. Sucking the shoulder blades down toward the tailbone, scooping up through the lower abs, knitting the rib cage in. Next exhale, coming forward over the top of the hands, bending in the elbows. Exhaling all the way down. Inhale, scoop through and pressing up. Keeping the elbows bent, draw the shoulder blades down the back. Scoop the belly button up and underneath the heart. Spreading the toes, clicking the toenails into the floor. On your next exhale, tuck the toes under, either press back to child's pose or all the way up into down dog. Nice long deep breath here. Let yourself settle in. 2 more full breaths. On your next inhale, draw your right knee into your chest. Bring yourself forward in through a plank pose. Step your right foot in between your hands. Lean all of your weight into your right foot and see if you can step forward with the left foot. Hanging here, exhaling all the way, relaxing the jaw, relaxing the eyeballs, scooping the belly out of the way. Inhaling halfway up for length. Exhaling down to the floor and coming all the way up to a standing, reaching, tall mountain pose. Drawing the hands into the heart, dropping them down. Inhaling all the way up again. Swan dive forward. Hands on the floor, lifting halfway up for length. Exhaling, hands down, stepping back, getting your plank established. Make sure your neck is nice and long. Your belly is scooped, tailbone is gently tucked, either knees down or knees up. On the next exhale, drawing yourself forward and all the way down to the floor. Scooping through and pressing up, keeping those legs pulling toward the center line, drawing the shoulder blades down and back, retracting the head, keeping the weight on the inside edge of your hand, tucking the toes, lift the hips, pressing back. Settle in here for 2 more breaths. After the second exhale, lift the left foot, draw the knee into the chest, come forward through a plank pose, and see if you can step it inside your hand. Transfer the weight onto your left foot. See if you can quietly lift and bring yourself back to a forward fold. Breathing a halfway up for length and down. Do that 2 more times. You can either bring your hands to your shins or leave your fingertips on the floor. The goal here is to keep the shoulder blades broad and down the back, nice long straight line from the crown of the head to the tailbone. This next time, stepping the right foot back, staying high on the tippy toes. Right foot is on the right train track, left foot is on the left train track, hip width apart. Lifting up onto the fingertips, so you just feel the fingertips brushing on the floor. Scooping up and back with the left hip, like through this hip crease here. Lengthening all the way from the back heel through the crown of the head. On the next inhale, rising up to crescent pose. So if having your arms up here is too much, you can bring them down to cactus arms, into prayer, or even balancing and holding on the thigh. Holding this for 1 more breath. At the end of your exhale, dropping the right heel down to the floor, parallel with the short end of the mat. Bring the arms down into Warrior Two. You might want to check in with your feet. Ideally, your left heel would be intersecting with the arch of your right foot. So you may need to adjust yourself slightly. Allow your hips to open up to the sides, but continue to rotate this left knee out over the left pinky toe. Retract your rib cage, scoop up through the lower belly. Really stack the upper body over the pelvis. On your next inhale, placing the right hand on the back thigh and lifting and reaching with the left hand. Let the shoulder blades soften down the back. Keep lifting up and out of the hip creases. Relax the back of the neck, looking along the palm of the hand. On your next exhale, placing your elbow on the front thigh, reaching the right hand up to the ceiling. Long, deep breaths here. If you would like to go deeper, place your hand on the floor or on a block on the outside of your left foot, and then reach your right arm, bicep alongside the right ear, and try to peel yourself open toward the ceiling. So right now you may be feeling opinions rising up within you about how this feels and whether you like it or not. Draw your attention back to your breath. On your next exhale, allow the top arm to cartwheel down, lift up high onto the back toes. Stepping the back foot forward about halfway, or maybe a third of the way. So you can draw your hips back and square. So you're pulling back and up with this left hip crease, and you're pressing forward and down with the right hip to create a really flat line across the back, lower back. So you may want to grab your blocks
and have them at the highest position to begin with. And play with the pressure of your weight in your feet. You may want to consider trying to splay, like you're trying to pull the mat away from itself. Your feet are pulling to the sides of the room ever so slightly, letting that right hip, the back hip, kind of roll forward, but then scooping up and long through the lower belly. So you're not sinking into the hip creases, but you're actually lengthening out. You may want to soften just a little bit in the front knee, but try to lift up through the kneecap and draw the kneecap all the way back into this hip. Use your breath to breathe into the back of the legs. And as your body releases, allow yourself to fold a little deeper. One more breath here. At the end of the exhale, bend into the front knee. Transfer your weight into the left foot and just bring your right foot forward and hang in a forward fold. So here, grab onto your opposite elbows, allow your arms to frame your head, and just acknowledge the difference you feel between your legs. It might be pretty substantial. For me, I feel like my left leg, the leg that was forward, is probably 6 inches longer than my right leg. And I know that's not real or true, but that's just how it feels. On your next exhale, drop your hands down to the floor, raise up as you inhale, halfway up for length. Exhale down. And on the next inhale, stepping your left foot back, keeping it on a train track, staying up nice and high on the back toes like you're wearing a really ridiculous stiletto. Drawing back with the right hip and forward with this left hip, lengthening long through the crown of the head, softening those shoulder blades back, opening up wide and broad across the front body, scooping the lower abs up, and just gently lifting the front toes off the floor and laying them down while maintaining that really strong connection in the four corners of the front foot. Draw your feet toward each other as you inhale and come up either to hands on the front knee, hands at heart center, cactus arms, or all the way up. Find a focal point and let yourself just settle in to this position. Can you relax the shoulders? On your next exhale, turning out toward the left side, letting the heel drop down and go parallel to the front, to the short edge of the mat, reaching the arms out long, bending into the front knee. Retracting slightly toward the back of the room. So you're bringing yourself back over your pelvis. Keep externally rotating the right knee, the front knee, so it doesn't swing in. On your next inhale, placing the back hand on the back thigh. You're not leaning into it, you're just using that as a reference point. Reaching the right hand up, lifting up and out of those hip creases, dropping the shoulder blades down the back, retracting the head, softening the back of the neck, pressing hard into the outer blade of the back foot. On your next exhale, bringing the right hand elbow onto the right thigh, peeling the shoulders back, reaching up toward the sky. If you'd like to take this a little deeper, you can use your block or the floor, placing the hand on the floor. If that bothers your fingers, you can always rest on your knuckle. And then reaching long alongside the head and peeling the chest open toward the ceiling. Imagine you laying back, drawing back with the abdominals, with the rib cage. On your next exhale, cartwheeling forward, coming up high on your back toe, leaning into the front foot and stepping this back foot in about halfway, making sure that your feet are hip width apart. Both feet are pointing forwards. Grab your blocks, put them directly under your shoulders, and pressing back and wide with the feet. Play with the angles, starting with the hips. So press back hard and long with the right glute. And then press into the left foot, the back foot, to create length through the crown of the head. Holding this, lifting the kneecaps, sliding them up the leg toward your hip creases. Folding a little deeper, maintaining that nice flat back. Listening to the sound of your breath. One more full round of breath here. On your next inhale, bending the front knee, putting the weight into that foot. Coming back to a forward fold. And feeling how it feels. You may want to frame your head by grasping your opposite elbows. Scoop the belly up and out of the way. And if you need to stand with your feet a little wider, if you just have a lot of tissue here in the middle, just create space for it. Just find a way to get comfortable. Relax your jaw, relax your eyes. Take your feet to the outer edges of the mat. Bend your knees and squat down, bringing your arms inside your knees and thighs. Your feet will be pointed slightly out. You want to kind of hook the back sides of your arms into the knees and then really work to create a long line from the tailbone to the crown. And on your next exhale, just sitting down, rolling onto your back, rolling back and forth 3 times. On the last roll, just bringing yourself into a nice flat back on the floor, feet close to your butt. You might be able to brush your fingertips along them. Place your hands, palms up, arms straight and alongside your feet. And as you exhale, pressing your lower back into the floor, kind of curling your pubic bone up. And then as you inhale, draw your tailbone back and kind of drag it toward your shoulder blades to create a nice big arch there. So do that 4 more times. Exhale, flattening the back. Inhale, drawing the tailbone, scooping and pulling. Last one, pulling back, relaxing, drawing the knees up, hooking the arms around the outside of the legs, letting the legs spread and open to the sides, relaxing the feet. You may want to interlace your fingers across the middle and just gently rocking from side to side. Pressing your feet toward the ceiling, keeping your knees bent. Take your arms inside the thighs and reach the hands to the outer blade of the foot. So similar arm position as when we squatted down and we had our upper arms inside our knees, but then we're reaching our hands and letting them weave to the outside of our foot. This is called happy baby. So lengthening the tailbone toward the floor, pressing the feet toward the ceiling, gently pressing the back of the head into the floor, and then just rocking from side to side. This is a great finishing pose. You may want to straighten your legs, kind of play a little bit with what's going on here, whatever feels good. And then find your way back to center. Release the feet to the floor. Extend them, straighten them out, reaching the arms alongside the thighs, hands, palms facing toward the ceiling, letting the chest melt all the way from the sternum in the middle of the chest, cascading down toward the floor, softening the shoulders, softening the whole back body. Just letting yourself feel the love and the support and the complete safety of resting in the Father's arms. Surrender all your attention, all your anxiety, all your worry to Him. Let it melt away and allow yourself to be held. Lay here for a couple more minutes. Maybe you've got some music going. Let yourself just rest for a full song. This is a really important part of your practice. Release all your effort in your breath. And just be.